Hey everyone, and welcome to week 2 of building Air Kit in LEGO. Before I begin, I would like to thank everyone who tuned in for week 1 of this building series. That video did extremely well, and I thank you guys for all the positive feedback I received in the comments of that video. So for this week, we're going to start building. I'm going to show you guys the designs that I came up with for the wall, and then I'm going to show you guys the final design that I came up with. Then we're gonna start building some of the walls, and also I'm gonna show you guys some prototypes of the landscape that I've been working on. You can kind of already see the walls already built here a little bit, but I'm gonna go more in depth into it. We're gonna be starting off in Studio or stud.io. I'm gonna show you guys all the designs that I came up with for the walls, and then we'll go on from there. So let's go ahead and jump right into this week's segment. So these are all the wall designs that I came up with on Studio or stud.io, and I have this Lego minifigure here just to compare how they look to an actual size Lego minifigure. And so this is the first design that I came up with. It basically uses a lot of hinge bricks to get all sides to curve inward, with a 2x2 jumper in the middle just to have this column right in the middle of all 4 sides. I really like this one. The only problem with it is that it's really bulky and it's just too big, and that's why I'm not going to be using this design. With the second design right here, it uses a lot of 1x1 round plates. It basically has 4 columns of them going upward, and then it connects to a 2x2 jumper, and then this 1x1 brick with studs on all 4 sides facing the corners of the jumper plate. And the only problem I have with this one is that I feel like it's too exposed, especially on the top, and so that's why I'm not going to be using this design. With the third design, it uses a lot of the 2x2 round plates in the center, and then it uses this 1x1 round plate with like this bar on the side, and so that way it can connect to this 1x2 clip piece, and that way these can fold inward. I really don't like this one, only because again I feel like it's also too exposed, and like I don't like these gaps in the middle when you're trying to fold these parts inward. So this fourth design right here is the final design. This is what I'll be using for the walls, and I really like it a lot. Originally, like this section right here was supposed to be a 1x1 brick, but 1x1 translucent bricks are really expensive, so I just converted them all to plates, and so it was a lot cheaper when I was buying the parts to build this physically. And I'll explain later on when I build this in real life the techniques that I used and how I basically formed this shape. Again, these 1x1 round plate with this bar on the side for the clip pieces, and it basically folds inward. And I really like this design a lot, and compared to a figure, I'll go ahead and move this over here. Compared to a figure, it's pretty much to scale, so I'm very happy about that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the parts that I have to go ahead and build this wall design. So before I dive right into this pile of parts, I do want to say that I fixed the slant on this table. I just had to get a replacement table. I still have the other table right here. I'm not sure if I'm going to return it or keep it, but that's not something I need to worry about right now. As I mentioned briefly in last week's segment, I ordered the parts to start working on the landscaping and the wall design. So I already showed you guys the wall design digitally on Studio or stud.io, and so I'm gonna just make this a little bit more neater. And actually, here's the reference picture of what the walls look like. I showed you guys in last week's segment as well. Sorry if the lighting's kind of dark. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a time lapse of me sorting these parts and building one wall. There I'm going to cut and then show you guys what that wall looks like, and then continue building from there with possibly another time lapse. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. So I was finally able to build one of these walls, and I had the studio file open as reference, and it looks really good in person, like physically built. And I'm very happy with the way this turned out. I really like the curvature of it. I really wanted to capture the angles on the ends, like how the ends fold inwards. And compared to this reference picture, it looks a little bit bulkier, but it looks pretty much to scale right next to a figure. So right next to the stormtrooper, it looks pretty much to scale. So I'm very happy with that, because in the game, when troops walk near these walls, they're like as tall as them. And I think this is pretty much to scale. So I'm very happy with the way this turned out. So how I built this wall design was basically, I'm gonna open the edges outward. You take these 1x1 hinge plates, and then these 1x2 like hinge plate with like the clip, and then you connect it to the bar on this plate, and you basically do that on all 4 corners and make sure they're facing roughly the corner, and then you take a 1x3 tile to eventually fold inward. But then you have this layer of basically plates, so you have 2 translucent red plates, then 1 black plate, then 3 translucent red plates, and then 2 black plates, and then tile it off with a 1x1 black tile. It goes on the middle stud between these 2 hinge modified plates. And then as you can see, I have a 1x1 red plate, so you can kind of see that hint of translucent red before the tile, and then you have a 1x1 medium blue tile. But then once you build like these parts, you can then eventually fold it inward, so that way it covers, because you can see the filler brick in between, and so when you fold this inward, it covers that. And so that's basically how I built this wall. I really like this design a lot, and I will have to build a lot of them for this mock. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna start building the walls on this corner. I need to build walls all the way down here, then across, then all the way back down here, and then across, stopping at the end of the 3rd base plate here. And I'm gonna leave the edge of this middle base plate open, because that's what I have in my plans. Then it's gonna continue right here on this new base plate, and then all the way down back to this corner. I don't need to have all the walls built to surround all of the edges at this moment. That's something I can do over time as I start building from base plate to base plate. I'm gonna go ahead and sort these coral bricks and start working on the landscaping on this base plate. So let's go ahead and jump into that time lapse. So as you can see, I did make quite a mess. I had to go get some parts, especially some filler bricks, and I was able to start building the walls on this corner, and it looks really good. I'm really liking this translucent red like shield type of wall, kind of like a shield generator style, and it looks really good, especially with this coral landscaping. Again, I'm really liking how this coral color is looking as the landscape, and it's gonna look really good once it just is over the entire mock. And so I'm very happy because now I know how thick the border will be. So it's going to be 5 studs wide. So it's going to be 5 studs wide all the way down and across and then back around. And so now that I know that, I can start mapping out where the other buildings are going to be. I was going to map out the buildings this week, but I wanted to go ahead and start building. So here are a few landscape prototypes that I designed by using just like these plates and using some of these coral plates and coral tiles. And I'm really liking the coral landscape with like the reddish brown rock work. I think it looks really good. And so this is the landscape design I'm going to be using. Basically, it's just like a circle outline, and then in between it's going to be tiles. And then I'm going to order some dark brown pieces as well to blend with just the standard reddish brown color. I think that's going to look really good with the rock work. And again, I'm just using this picture right here as reference. And I'm just really liking like that circular plate outline. So it just gives it some texture, and also it gives room for some minifigures to actually stand in position. Like when you put this right here, it's just gonna look really nice. So this is all the progress I was able to make this week. Again, not a whole lot. My goal for next week's segment is to clean all this up and start mapping out where the buildings are gonna be. And so yeah, that's what I have planned for next week. So this is gonna wrap up this segment. Let's head to the outro. So this is gonna wrap up week 2 of building Air Kit in Lego. I am very happy with the progress that I've made this week. I'm very happy with the wall design. It is looking really good, and also I'm very excited to start working on the landscaping. So for next week, I'm gonna clear all this out and I'm gonna start planning or where the specific buildings are gonna be, because now I know how wide or how many studs is the border, which is basically the walls that are gonna surround the entire mock. So now that I know that, I can start planning out where the specific buildings are gonna be. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this mock so far? Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell icon so you know when the next week will be uploaded to my channel. And I'll see y'all in the next video.